doing own voice over soft music. Did you got any information about her? Jungkook coldly asked to his secretary who was standing right beside him. No sir, we still are searching for her. Hope we will find her soon. The same answer which he gave Jungkook every time he asked him the same question. Jungkook continued drinking his drink, but then they heard a knock on the door of the room, and Mark immediately left to see who it is. And he saw the manager of the club, so he went outside the room just not to disturb Jungkook. Yes, he asked the manager of the club, sir. Actually, this man need the help of boss. So he said while pointing a middle-aged man standing with a pity sad face next to him. What help? He asked the man, sir. I want to borrow some money from boss. Mark sign. I don't think boss will give you, sir. Please, my son is in hospital. He needs money for operation. Otherwise, I will lose my son. The man begged. Okay, fine. Come inside. What happened? Sir, I want $1 million money. He asked while hanging his head low in fear. Okay, give me some legal or valuable thing so that I will give you money. Sir, I will give you he said as if it's nothing because he thought all mafia for there, but his words only made Jungkook anger. Mark, don't you told him that I don't do things with ask him to leave, he said and continued drinking, ignoring the man. Sir, please, the boy is and young too. She will definitely please have a look. She tried to convenience Jungkook by showing the pic of a girl, and unknowingly Jungkook's eyes fall on the girl's pic, making his eyes stuck on her. He asked the man, still his eyes fixed on the phone screen, and the man sighed in relief that at least his trick worked. Yes, sir. For the first time, felt something towards a girl, and his arise within him, and he felt like, fine, give me her, and I will give you. But after that, you have no rights on her, and you will never come to her. This man's eyes light up on hearing 2 millions. Of course, I won't. Where is she now? Sir, in my house. Mark, handle the case, and I want her in my bedroom right within an hour. Yes, sir, he said and left with the man. Jungkook Shim can't wait to, he said to himself and gulped the remaining drink in one go and left the place. Wine, go inside and remember what I told you. Don't make him angry. Just listen to whatever he asks you, he said to Wine, who was crying while looking at her fidgeting fingers. Indeed, Mark felt sympathy for her because when he went to her house, in her uncle's house, he saw how badly her uncle treats her. So on the way to Jungkook's mansion, he tried to make Wine calm a little and gave her rough image of how Jungkook behavior is. She just and hold the doorknob off and get in, and Mark left the house. Wine entered the house and saw Jungkook sitting on the bed and having his drink. She was scared and nervous too. She doesn't know what to do. All she know was from here her life is going to be as she will become his. Meanwhile, Jungkook kept his drink aside and went to Wine and stood in front of her. Wow, you look, he said while checking her out from head to toe, and Wine looked down at her in nervous. But then he felt a drop of tear on his face, so he made Wine look at him while holding her chin. That's for his heart to ache for the first time after seeing Wine crying face. What's your name? He asked Wine. Wine, she said in her sweet voice, making Jungkook feel something inside him. But right now, all his thinking that he wanted Wine has the which he had been holding within himself came outside. So without thinking twice, he smashed his lips on her. But Wine didn't him back. But then to him to be continued. Instagram. Wine slowly opened her eyes. A drop of tear left her eyes, remembering everything that happened yesterday. A painful groan left her mouth when she slowly sat straight, resulting her head. Where is he? She asked after she found no one in the room. But then the bedroom door opened and Jungkook walked out with a towel wrapped around his and his eyes fall on Wine, who was now more scared and hold the. You are turning me on this early morning, he said while approaching Wine and sat on the bed next to her, making Wine to hold the toilet more tightly. I already saw everything of yours, girl. Jungkook just hold her chin and her, even though Wine didn't him back. After a minute, he pulled back from Wine's lip. Get up and make me breakfast, he said while getting up from bed and head to the closet. Meanwhile, Wine just took a deep sigh and slowly got up from bed and walked to bathroom. Ajuma, take care of her, he said to an old woman who used to take care of Jungkook's thing. Okay, young master. Don't try to run away, okay, he said to Wine in a scary tone, making Wine just nod her head and that she won't run away. And thus finally Jungkook left his work. Like the 6 months passed and Wine adjusted to this life as she knows that she has no other option because she can't run away as where she will go after running away. And also she knows that Jungkook will bring her back if she run away and will make her life more. Jungkook was working but his mind was full of Wine and he was occasionally watching her through the monitor screen as he has set cameras in the whole mansion except his bedroom. I need her right now, he said while his eyes were fixed on the screen after seeing Wine walked out of the bathroom just towel wrapped around her. Jungkook was completely lost in her, but then he came to reality when come in. He looked to see Mark came in with a wide smile. So we got a happy news, Jungkook from what it is. So we found Era, ma'am. Jungkook's eyes wide open in surprise as he totally forget about Era in the 6 month and after Wine came for whom he was searching for 14 years. Really, yes, sir. Where was she? She landed on Seoul last night. One another happy news, sir. She and her dad are soon going to settle down in Seoul as they have transferred their company from London to here. Mark said with a wide smile on his face, but Jungkook wasn't having any expression on his face. Let's go. Jungkook was walking in the hall of the house he just reached. He was looking at the portrait of his childhood best friend, which was hanging on the wall from her childhood pic to her grown up pic. But soon a voice interrupted him, so he turned around to see Era's dad. Oh my god, Cookie, is it really you? You grown up to a man, he said while coming down the stairs and hugged Jungkook. Yes, uncle, he said while slightly pushing Era's dad so that he can face his. Have a seat, Cook. Jungkook just nodded and both of them settled down on the couch. So how your life going? He said. Jungkook just to initiate the conversation. Good. He simply said, how you came to know about us with we reached. He was about to say but a female voice reached his ear. Appa, my car broke down in between, so I had to come back taking a taxi. Jungkook turned towards the door to see the girl whom he was searching, so he got up from coach. Jungkook surprised Era looked up at she saw was busy searching something in her bag, but her whole bowl paused and her eyes wide open when she saw Jungkook. She immediately ran towards him and hugged him. I missed you, Cookie, she said while pulling back from hug and stand straight with her both hands still on his both shoulder. You both don't know how much I missed you. Every day I used to tell Dad that let's go back to Seoul, but he didn't listen to me. And finally, see, I convinced Dad, and we are here, she said with so much adoration in her eyes. Love after 15 years. Cook, say something. She shaked him as she was lost. I too missed you. Come sit, let's talk. We have a lot to say. Saying this, she pulled him towards her coach and made him sit, and she too sat next to him, and both started talking. Meanwhile, Ara's dad left to give them privacy. It was late at night, but Jungkook still didn't come, and here Wine was waiting for him, and Ajuma has already left the house. Why he is not coming? The food is getting cold. She asked herself, but the realization hit her. Wait, why I'm concerned about that man. Let him come anytime he wants, she said to herself and left to her room. After some time, Jungkook entered his house after spending his whole day with Era as they had a lot to talk about. She might have slept, he said to himself, and then walked to Wine's room to see her as he didn't find her in kitchen or anywhere downstairs. Jungkook get in Wine's room and saw how peacefully she is sleeping. He sat next to Wine's sleeping figure and kept admiring her, and a small smile unknowingly appeared on his lips. He felt peace after seeing Wine's face. I missed you, he said to the sleeping figure and covered her properly with Juliet and left to his room. Wine entered the kitchen to see Ajuma doing something, so she called her. Ajuma, just throw yesterday's dinner. Why, young master didn't had no. Okay, dear. She turned around to go to yesterday's food, but then she saw Jungkook standing near the doorstep with her hand crossed in front of his chest, and he was checking out Wine from head to toe. Do you need anything, young master? She asked Jungkook, and Wine turned around to see Jungkook in his sweatpants and t-shirt looking eternal, but she mentally herself when she realized that she is rolling over him. Yeah, you take leave today, he said while still his eyes fixed on Wine, who was having a deep eye contact with him. Okay, young master. She turned to Wine. Wine, I will go, she said to Wine, and Wine faced Ajuma. Take care, Ajuma. The Ajuma smiled at Wine and left the house, and then Wine faced Jungkook. What will you like to have? She asked Jungkook, whose eyes were fixed on Wine only. Right now, I want to, he said and approached Wine while removing his t-shirt and pulled Wine into a dip, which Wine didn't reply back. Jungkook signed and back off as usual. Wine didn't him back, but he shrugged off that thoughts and made Wine sit on counter. Jungkook fixed himself and looked at Wine, who was taking long breath and making him again, but he controlled himself and said, prepare something special. I have a guest, he simply said, and Wine signed, get yourself wine, she said to herself and jumped from the counter and wore her dress properly and then pull off the broken nail and throw it on and started preparing the food. The doorbell was continuously ringing as if the person is impatient to get in the house. Coming, coming, she said while walking towards the door, and she opened the door just to see a beautiful girl. Who are you? She asked her, and the girl just gave a sweet smile to Wine. Ara, Jungkook's girlfriend, she said happily and with a red cheeks, but Wine's heart ached on hearing it when she herself doesn't know why. Cookie, she screamed loudly and she ran inside the house and Wine turned to see Jungkook walking down the stairs with the same sweatpants from earlier and no t-shirt as he didn't took his t-shirt before. Era jumped onto Jungkook and tightly hugged him, resulting no gap in between them as it was unexpected. Jungkook's hand held Vera's unknowingly, but the scene made Wine more heartbroken and her eyes were fixed on Jungkook, which wasn't, with Era's making Wine so jealous that she unknowingly started grating her own teeth and her eyes turned dark while staring at them. Era, he called her, making both Wine and Era to come to reality as Era was enjoying Jungkook's warmth and Wine was getting jealous, which she wasn't ready to accept. Yes, Cookie, she said, still in Jungkook's embrace. Will you please leave me? He said, and Era back off from the hug, but still her hands around his neck with a sad pout. Okay, she pulled back from Jungkook and stand straight and started roaming her eyes around the house. Wow, your house is really nice, she said while scanning this house, and her eyes stopped at Wine. You still here? Can I get a glass of water? She asked Wine, even though she doesn't want water, but just to make Wine away from her and Jungkook, she asked Wine for water, and thus when Jungkook's eye fall on Wine at him with a pot which she herself doesn't know when she potted, and Jungkook internally chuckled, more like smiled after seeing Wine's cute potty face which he saw for the first time. Yeah, sure. She took a glance at Jungkook and left to kitchen. Who is she? She immediately asked Jungkook when Wine left. She works here. She simply said, making Era to have a little sympathy on why. Oh, she is way too young to be a. Yeah, and wait here, I'm coming, he said and left to somewhere. Meanwhile, Era sat on the couch. Wine came back with a glass of water and saw Era alone on the couch. Water, she said, gaining Era's attention. Oh, thank you. She took the glass of water from Wine's and what do you name? Era smiled. Nice name, but can I ask you something? Wine just nodded her head. How did you end up here? A maid. She asked Wine as she was curious to know about Wine's background. Maid. Yeah, Cookie told me that you are a maid here. Wine internally chuckled at Era's word. Yeah, of course he will say I am a maid. How can he say that I am his to his girlfriend? Wine. She called her as Wine was deep in her thoughts. Yeah, she came to reality. I asked you something. Yeah, I became a maid because of my family problem. She lied to her, as Wine also don't want it to be a home breaker. Oh, you are really a good girl. For your family, you become a maid. Wine just gave a sad smile to her, which Ara didn't recognize. But then Wine heard Wine. He shouted from upstairs, making Wine and Ara to look upstairs with a frown. Yes, coming, she shouted back, but then she faced Era. She halted as she doesn't know what to call Era, and Era got it. You can call me Unni. Wine smiled back at her. Unni, I will be back. Era nodded, and Wine left immediately to Jungkook before he gets angry. Era drank the water which Wine gave her before, and decided to wait, but then she too curious to know what Jungkook shouted. I should go upstairs and check what happened to Cook. Wine entered Jungkook's room and didn't saw him anywhere. Master, she called him and then she heard his voice. Come to the closet. Yes, master. She headed to the closet without knowing that Era heard it when she was in the middle of the stairs as Wine talked to Jungkook from the doorstep and then Wine gave the door open and went inside. Wine entered the closet just to see Jungkook back facing her and looking into the closet with her hands on either side of his hip. Master Wine called him, and Jungkook turned around to face Wine, only for an unknown feeling to run inside his body every time he saw her. An unknown feeling plays inside him, which he found so good, and he enjoys the feelings which his body gave him when Wine is around him. But then he came to reality. Where are my t-shirts? He asked Wine after coming back from admiring. Master there, she pointed at the place where she kept his t-shirt after doing the laundry. Where? Jungkook questioned again without even looking where Wine pointed, and Wine got it that he is teasing her, but she has to be patient with him. Master there at the left section. This time she clearly told him, but again Jungkook didn't look at the closet as his eyes were fixed on Wine only. I can't find it, get me one. He asked Wine, and Wine internally rolled her eyes and moved forward towards the closet where his t-shirt. Here, master, she took one t-shirt and was about to turn around, but Jungkook backhugged her, making Wine's whole body numb. You smell like me, he said. Master, she called him with a faint voice, but then her hold on Jungkook's t-shirt, which she took from the closet earlier, got tighter as she felt Jungkook's lips on her neck. She is in when Jungkook, which she gave earlier. I want you again, he said, pulling Wine's dress from her shoulder and making Wine to close her eyes to feel his lips, and both really forget about Era, but then we came to reality when Cook, why you shouted, she asked while standing at the doorstep of closet, making Wine's eyes wide open, and she Jungkook closed his eyes just to gather himself so as to face Era and then turn around. Only Sir was asking for t-shirt. She cut it off him and then faced Jungkook. So your t-shirt. She kept the t-shirt at front desk of closet and then hurriedly left the closet, passing Era, who just had a smile, saying, "You really scare her a lot, Cook." She how pale her face got after seeing your cold face. She said after Wine left and approached Jungkook and took the t-shirt which Wine placed for Jungkook. "She scares me." Yeah, by her face I can feel that. Jungkook's heart ache on hearing Wine scares him. He likes when everyone are scared of him, but when he heard Wine scare him, he doesn't like it at all. Jungkook was deep in thought, but then came to reality when Era tried to make Jungkook wear the shirt. "What are you doing?" he asked, backing off a little, making Era blush. "Helping you in wearing the t-shirt." I will do it," he said with a small smile and then took the t-shirt from Era's hand. "Will you wait outside? I will be back quick." "Okay," she said, and went outside the closet, making Jungkook sign in relief. Thank God she didn't find it out. He himself and then wore his t-shirt and head outside the closet just to see Era. "You didn't left downstairs?" he asked Era as he found Era admiring the things arranged in his bedroom. "No, I thought of looking around your room and it's beautiful," she said, still her eyes on different things placed inside the bedroom. "You like it?" Era first Jungkook. "Yeah, you had arranged it so well." He just gave a small smile to Era. "Come, you might be hungry." "Yeah, very much." They head to dining room. Vine was arranging the dining table but then her eyes went towards the stairs as she heard talking and laughing sound of Jungkook and Era, just for her heart to ache again because she saw how Era's hands were over Jungkook's arm and Jungkook's arms in his sweatpant pocket. Laughing, the smiley face of Jungkook made Vine more jealous, and her heart started burning because he is laughing with Era, with not with her. But then she turned to face other side. Vine thought, why I am feeling like separating Jungkook from Era? Why my heart is paining from the time I saw Era here? Am I jealous? Hey Vine, why would you be jealous? Her eyes wide open in shock when she again realized, am I in love? No, 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 it can't be. She said, shaked her head. Wine flinched at Era's sudden voice because she was so lost in her thought that she didn't notice that Era and Jungkook already approached the dining table. Era laughed a little after seeing Wine's scared, nervous face. "Did I scare you? You easily get scared, right? Don't be scared of me," she said while patting Wine's back to calm her. Yeah, she just agreed to Era and she can feel Jungkook's intense stare on her, but Wine tried to avoid it, which she herself doesn't know why she was feeling like avoiding Jungkook's stare on her. Maybe she is showing that she is angry on him for touchy with other girls, or maybe she is ignoring her own feeling for Jungkook by avoiding him. She doesn't know. Only please sit and have it. Ara looked at the dining table just to get mesmerized. "Wow, you cooked all this?" Wine smiled. "Yeah," she smiled, and Jungkook lost it completely when he saw Wine smile for the first time in the 6 month, and he wished he wanted to keep smile seeing her smile. Indeed, he wanted to make her smile and be the reason of her smile. He was lost in Wine's smile, but then came to reality when "Cook, come, I will serve you." She held Jungkook's wrist and made him sit on the chair, but Wine's heart again ached seeing Hera holding Jungkook. Hera, why don't you sit and Wine will serve," he said while slowly taking his hand from Hera's. "No, Cookie, I want to serve you," she said while taking one dish plate on her hand and was about to serve it, but Jungkook held her wrist, stopping her. "No, you are my guest, so I should treat you like one. You sit, Wine will serve." He made Era sit on the chair next to him without knowing Era's heart was burning and her eyes were on the verge of shedding tears, which she herself doesn't know why she is feeling like she will cry. Meanwhile, Era blushed, saying Jungkook's hold. Okay, as you say, Wine dear, please serve. I'm so hungry," she said, Wine making to come to reality. "Yeah, sure." She served both of them. "Why, and where is your plate? Go and bring your plate and have with us," he said as always Wine and Jungkook eat together. But today Wine was not in the mood to eat as already her tummy got filled with jealousy and anger after seeing Era and Jungkook. "I'm not in the mood to eat. You both continue. I will eat after some time," she said and left inside the kitchen, making Jungkook a little angry because it's the first time she disobeyed him. This girl, he was about to get up from his seat so as to follow Wine, but Era held his wrist. Jungkook, don't force her. She will eat when she will be hungry. Ira, what do you think? You after making all this, she will be hungry. I like how concerned you are for your workers, but she might not be feeling like eating after inhaling all the food smell. She said, making Jungkook sign, and he thought maybe Era is right. Yeah, maybe. So leave her. She will eat when she will be hungry. Jungkook just nodded his head, and Era continued eating. Meanwhile, Jungkook wasn't able to eat, so she kept playing with the food. Era and Wine were waiting for Jungkook as Era went to Jungkook to take her on date with Jungkook at first refused but then gave up and agreed to Era and thus now they both were impatiently waiting for Jungkook to get ready. Era was getting impatient because she was excited to go on their first date and here Wine was getting jealous knowing Jungkook is going out with Era and she can't do anything and that's when Jungkook walked down the stairs. Today Wine found him more handsome than every other day. She was lost in drooling over Jungkook that she didn't notice Jungkook was in front of her. But Wine came to reality when, oh my god, Cook, you're looking so handsome. I'm sure today I will out of jealousy because all the girls will be admiring you. Wine's heart ached on hearing Era praising Jungkook and to add gasoline on her burning heart, Jungkook chuckled at Era's statement, but then he faced Wine. Wine, we will be late. Don't prepare dinner, okay? He said to Wine, who was standing still, not knowing what to do. Yeah, okay, she simply said without showing any emotion. So close the door and don't open the door for anyone. Wine just simply nodded and they both left. Wine was lying on bed to sleep, but she wasn't able to sleep because every time she closed her eyes, a happy scene of Jungkook and Era came in her mind. Why I'm feeling uneasy thinking about Era and Jungkook. She shook her head and closed her eyes again to sleep, but she didn't sleep, so she sat straight on bed. And at that time, she heard noises from downstairs, so she left to see what's happening downstairs. When Wine reached downstairs, she saw Jungkook and Era walking inside, and Jungkook's eyes fall on Wine. You didn't sleep yet? He asked her and stand in front of her. No, really, I'm also not tired, so come let's talk for a little time. She held Wine's wrist and took her to her room. Meanwhile, Wine just turned around to see Jungkook, who was already looking at her. We had lots of fun. We went to shopping mall, then amusement park, and then finally had dinner and came back. It was so fun. Wine. Ira was explaining how happy she was all day with Jungkook and whatever they did outside, making Wine more jealous. But she controlled herself and kept on listening. Ira. Jungkook was standing under the shower. Whole day I was thinking of Wine, he said to himself after remembering that all the time when he was with Era, his mind and heart was with Wine, thinking what she is doing and all. I need to see her right now. He grabbed a sweatband, wore it, and headed out to Wine's room. When Jungkook reached Wine's doorstep, he heard Ara's voice. I thought she might have left by now, he said to himself, and then slowly peeked inside the room just to see Wine smiling sweetly at Ara talking, making Wine look so eternal with a sweet smile on her lips, and Jungkook kept admiring her. I will go now. I should freshen up and sleep. She got up from bed, and thus Jungkook came to reality, so he walked away from Wine's doorstep so that Ara won't find him. Good night, Unni. Good night. Era thus left the room, and Wine's sweet smile immediately faded away. She made my lost my sleep. Wine painfully said as Era's date story made Wine's heart clench, but then soon her bedroom door opened and she looked up to see Jungkook walking towards her. So she immediately, Master, you haven't slept, she asked Jungkook, but Jungkook just ignored her question and carried her in bridal style, making Wine nervous because Era is your master. What are you doing? Can't you see taking you to my room? And also, Wine, how many times I have told you not to call me master when we aren't? He said to Wine, who has bite her lips and nervous, and walked out of the room without knowing that Era show it, and her all happiness fade away. What was that? That means my suspicion was right. The way she calls him master, the was nail mark on Jungkook's back and Wine's neck having. She noticed all this earlier, but she shrugged it off. But now she confirmed it. Jungkook laid Wine on bed and then he too laid beside her and hugged her tightly and both closed their eyes just feeling each other and slept like cuddling as always. Era Unni, I'm scared. I didn't inform sir about I'm going out with you. Wine said to Era who took her outside by saying that let's go on outing. Wine be calm. Cook will not do anything. I will talk to him. Okay, she unwillingly said and then Era took her somewhere. Thank you, she said to the waiter who just placed her coffee in front of her. Wine, she called Wine in a little cold tone, who was already enjoying her drink. Yes, Unni. What's going on between Jungkook and you? She directly asked Wine, taking a Wine off guard. Only she shuddered, not knowing what to say. Yesterday, I forgot my phone in your room, so when I came back to take it, I saw Jungkook carrying you to his room. Wine's eyes wide open. Now she can't lie to Era, so I'm sorry, Uni. I'm not a maid. I am of master. Wine's eyes turned teary, and she looked down, feeling ashamed of herself. Wine, while Era's eyes got wide open on shock. Hey, don't cry. She stood up from her seat and sat next to Wine. How did you end up like this? My mom, sister, and husband sold me to Master because they needed money for their son's treatment. How long it has been? 6 months. Wine, I will help you, but just run away from here, she said to Wine. What do you think, Uni, that I didn't try to run away? I thought of that, but then later I realized that I have nowhere to go, no money, no friends to whom I will go. So at last I gave up. I will help you. I will provide you place to live, money and all. Wine looked at Era as if she heard something wrong. Uni. Yes, I'm doing all this because I wanted Jungkook to call for me. She said directly because all now she care is she want Jungkook and also from an ex-mafia family she knows it quite common for mafias to have. So Era was ready to forgive Wine and Jungkook because she loves Jungkook a lot. Wine was standing in the balcony of Era's apartment. She was lost in thought. Yes, Era helped Wine to run away. I know, Era, only that you saw my love for Jungkook. That's why you hide me here, she chuckled. I'm sorry, Jungkook. I fall in love with you. I don't know when, but I realized my love when Hera introduced her as your girlfriend. But what's the use of my love when you only see me as your? That's why I gave up my love and agreed to Hera only to run away because I will fall more in love with you if I will stay with you. And also one day you will get married to Hera. At that time, I will be most heartbroken person. That's why I left you. Now she was talking to the stars as to take her pain out. Jungkook anger. What the are you saying, Era? Jungkook was losing his mind after he didn't find Wine in house after he came back from work and Era told him that she went missing. I'm sorry, Jungkook. I took her out with me from shopping and in mall she went missing. Jungkook grabbed his hair in frustration. He was losing his control and at the same time he saw a vase near him. Jungkook, she screamed, seeing a whole new Jungkook who was scary and looking so dangerous with red shot eyes. Jungkook took his phone and called his all man and secretary, who immediately came to his mansion. Mark, I want mine right here before 12 at midnight. Yes, sir, he said, and they all left. And meanwhile, Wine's era sign in relief has now it's already 10, so in 2 hours they won't be able to find Wine. Jungkook was tapping his feet on floor, getting impatient each passing second. Here, Era was mentally praying that they should not catch Wine, but she doesn't know that what Jungkook. So we got her, he said, getting inside the mansion while running and gained Jungkook's and Era's attention. What? She stood up from her seat in surprise, but Mark just scared her, making Era understand that Mark understood everything. Let's go. Jungkook rang the bell of the house, which Mark showed him, and here Wine opened the door, thinking it might be Era, but she opened the door to see Master, a very dangerous Jungkook, hair messy, sweaty body. His eyes were red, and he was staring at Wine in such a way that if stares might have someone, then Wine might have been now. Wine got it that she has. Master, leave my hand, it's paining, she said to Jungkook, who was dragging her to his room in anger. But then he stopped on his track when he heard a painful groan of Wine. Ah, my feet. He immediately turned around to see Wine holding her feet with her other free hand, and it was as a broken piece hit her feet. Oh, Wine, don't touch her. He warned Era, who was about to touch her, making Era to halt on a step. Jungkook carried Wine in his arms and placed it on Coach Mark first aid box. Mark immediately left to get a first aid box and came back and gave it to Jungkook, who was already on his knees. Jungkook was treating Wine a wound, and here lastly with a bandage he was done. Is it hurting? He asked Wine, and Wine just nodded her head in denial. Now tell me why you ran away. Did I do anything wrong? Wine bit her lips and she looked at her, but Era dig her own grave. Jungkook, leave her. For how long will you keep her as your? Even after getting married to me, Era asked, making both Wine and Jungkook to face her. What did you say? Marrying me. Jungkook stood up from his knees and approached Era. You called her. She is your. Before Era can complete, Jungkook cut it. Dare to call my girl like that. I never treated her as my. What do you mean by my girl? She is mine. I love her. Wine's eyes wide open. Jungkook, you are just saying that because she is good in. Stop, Era, if you don't want it to be her, he said, making Era's eyes wide open. For her you will. I even her uncle and auntie and their bratty son for whom they gave her to me. Yes, them 2 days after I got you. They deserve that for treating you like. Wine was crying hard after remembering how about her hard past, bad past. Don't cry, baby. I can't see your crying face. He approached Wine and hugged her. You okay, baby? He asked, and Wine just nodded her head. Meanwhile, Era too was shocked to hear about Wine's horrible past. I'm sorry, Wine, she said, gaining everyone's attention. Why, Unni? Even after knowing that you love Jungkook and Jungkook is the only comfort of you, I tried to take away that as it was blinded by my love for Jungkook. Wine didn't say anything. And Era, what made you think that I love you? Why the told Wine? How you know that I told Wine that I am your girlfriend? I heard you saying that to Wine. Asked your secretary and he said that you were searching for me for 15 years. So I thought you loved me. Jungkook looked at his secretary. Listen, Era, you were my best friend from the age of diapers. So suddenly one day when dad told us that some enemies attacked your house and only your mom body was gone, you and your dad went missing. So I wanted to know whether you both are okay or not. I done it as a friend and nothing else. Then what about all your lovely acts? I'm sorry I was making Wine jealous as I noticed Wine jealous face, so I thought to make her more jealous so that she will realize her feeling for me, and also I was just friendly with you. What did mean you were knowing that I love you? She asked in between. Yes, babe. Wine angrily pointed at him, making him at her. You should thank me for making you realize your feelings for me. Wine's all anger flew away as he was right though. I love you more. Saying this, he her this time Wine to him back, making his loss in control, and he while Wine's eyes fall on Era walking out of the house, so she pulled back from making Jungkook run. Babe, I was enjoying Era only. Jungkook too looked at Era walking away. She will be fine after some time, but for now let me you. Saying this, he threw Wine on his shoulder and walked to bedroom. Why? For running away from me. Wine signed and let him be. Era did this all thinking that if Wine will be away, Jungkook will focus on Era and she will get him, as she doesn't know that Jungkook also love Wine. But when Wine he loves Wine, Era moved from both of them. Jungkook fell beside Wine and took her in his embrace, but Wine had something to ask him. Jungkook, yes, baby. When did you came to know that you love me? He looked at Wine. Actually, I already fall in love at first sight with you when your uncle showed me your pic. But then more about my love, my over me has for 25 years I hold myself, and after seeing you, I lost it. Well, you, I don't know when I fall in love with you, but all I know is love you so much. She said and hugged Jungkook tightly, and her hug her back. I love you too. He peeked Wine's top of head, and both the end. Thanks for watching. Bye.